before anybody says something about it, I know my headlights need to be clean. I just needed to get that out the way. Guys, my name is Chris. This is my channel called Mumble. Welcome back, or welcome to the first ever video of you checking out my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about my Infiniti G20 and the things that I hate about it. Well, not necessarily hate, maybe more like dislike, because hate is a strong word. So let's go ahead and get into this video. One of them is going to be the transmission. This car does have a 4-speed automatic transmission. It is not the fastest, considering the car has 145 horsepower. It's a 4-speed transmission, so think about that. Car comes in at about 3,000 pounds. That's pretty heavy. I mean, yes, it does pull nicely onto the highway and it does merge good, but once you're on the highway and you're up to those highway speeds and you step on it, it kind of just revs up and doesn't go anywhere. All it does is it makes noise. Top end is real bad on this car, so if you're on the highway and you're already doing 80, it's like around 3,000, 3,500. That's where it's at already. So that's another factor that kind of doesn't help out the gas mileage, considering that it's a 4-speed transmission. The gas mileage is not the best, even though it's a 4-cylinder car. It is rated around 20 something to 30 on the highway, not even 30. I think it's like 29 miles per gallon on the highway. A lot of B6 cars nowadays are getting the same gas mileage that this one is when they're automatic and you drive them conservatively. Other than that, it's a pretty good car to just get around with. I'm not a fan of the transmission, honestly. It kind of feels like it's missing a gear after a while. It's just my own personal opinion. The second thing I want to talk to you guys about is something that I complained about in the G37 video. What is that? That's the cup holders. Remember what I said about the G37? The G37 cup holders were way too small. I mean, you couldn't even fit that much stuff in there except maybe a small water bottle and like another soft drink. It's hitting right here, as you can tell, and it's only one cup holder for the front 2 passengers. I mean, what do they expect the passenger to hold their drink the whole time? I don't know. I mean, there's 2 cup holders in the back, but if you have 4 people in the car, only 3 cup holders, that just doesn't add up. And it's not the fact that it just comes with 1 cup holder. The thing is that there's very limited space of how much you can put in there. You can't even fit a 16-ounce water bottle in there properly, and it doesn't sit flush. You know, even with the McDonald's cup right now, it wobbles. There's a lot of play with it. So that's another thing that I dislike about this car. The third thing I want to talk to you guys about is the overall motor. On the low end, it does pull nice. When you're out of light and you step on the gas, it goes. Once you get into those higher gears, it's kind of sluggish. You know, you step on the gas and the motor barely pushes. And I think that's a problem with this car, especially being that it has that transmission that I said. It's a 4-speed transmission. Now, I do understand that this car was basically a luxury type of Sentra, but I still feel that the car was underpowered, giving it a 145 horsepower. Now, if the car was a manual, I'm pretty sure the car will be a lot more fun, because you can actually shift gears whenever you want. You can rev up the engine a little bit higher. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is aftermarket support. This car has very limited aftermarket support. When it comes to the front lip, you can try to get the OEM one, but it's kind of hard nowadays. The only other options you have is to get a Civic front lip or an Integra front lip. I've even seen people put an STI lip on here and it looks decent. As far as other exterior mods that you can do is probably just Visors, and that's about it. There is a rear wing visor that you can put on here. I think it was about $80 last time I checked. That's about it for the exterior mods for this car, unless you get UK or JDM bumpers, but they're not the cheapest thing to get and they're not real easy to find. Well, you might also consider that, but it's a hard part that you're gonna, you know, spend some money on. If you're looking at suspension mods, all you really have is like coilovers, which are about 400 something for the Tains. As far as springs, Tain did make some, and they're about 155 to 200, but they are the Tain S-Tech springs. So after a while, they're gonna blow out your shocks. The reason I say this is I've ran Tain S-Tech springs on my cars before, and they've literally done this. So then you're gonna spend more money buying new shocks, putting those parts in again, replace them, and do everything twice, basically. So what can you do performance-wise to this car? To this car, basically, there's nothing you can really do. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you're a guy that doesn't really know how to search for stuff or find things, you're gonna have a hard time finding performance parts for this car. I looked for a header once, and it was nothing but an eBay header. That's all I could find. If you get on the forum, you could probably get a better name brand header, but those are going for about $200 to $300 depending on the brand and make. The thing is that as soon as I asked questions about the eBay header, I got very limited information about it. When it comes to an exhaust system, you're gonna have to get something custom made. There is literally not an aftermarket system for this car at the moment that I have found. If you found one, let me know down below. An intake system runs about $200 to about $150 from what I saw last time. Considering that the intake doesn't really do much to cars, you really want to spend that much money on a mod for a car that's very underpowered. So basically that's it for modding this car. You're very limited to modding this car. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about are repairs. This car is a 16-year-old car. Repairs for this car can be quite expensive sometimes. It can also be a headache when you're trying to find parts. When I was trying to find a part for this car, which was an axle, I found one, but when I tried to find the other one, the other axle was too short. Reason being, I have an LSD transmission. It's an automatic car with an LSD transmission. So whenever I go to AutoZone, Pep Boys, or O'Reilly's, I would go ahead and be like, okay, I need an axle for a 2002 Infiniti G20, but please make sure it's an LSD transmission axle. Right away, they will push me away and say there is no such thing as an LSD transmission axle. And it was funny because they would just literally try to sell me every other thing except for the part that I actually needed. And then sometimes I think it's those experiences that kind of pushes away from those people and makes us think that those people don't know nothing. But if their computer system does not say this, I mean, it's kind of a headache. So after researching, trying out like 5 axles, we couldn't find one that fit. I kind of see the concept as to why people just forget about these cars and basically just sell them to the junkyard and just let the junkyard part it out. This car, it's not as common anymore, so I feel like they're just trying to charge you more. It kind of feels like it's like something that's on your shoulders all the time because you know something's gonna go wrong. Those were the top 5 things I hate about this car. As far as the interior, the exterior, I love everything about it. I think it looks good. It kind of gives you that old school vintage type of look. Now, do I think you should buy this car? I think that's your judgment to make. Do I recommend you buying this car? If you're building it and it's a project, go for it. I have thought about trading this car in for something newer. If you guys have any idea on what I should get, comment down below. It can't be nothing too crazy or anything better than my G37 because it's still gonna be a work car. Give me your input if you think I was right on a couple points or if you disagree with anything. Hope you do guys subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
I'ma blow up. Yeah.